Hello and welcome to this week's Mastering Life Shorts. Today we're talking about a problem that almost all of my coaching clients and just about everyone I've ever met has procrastination. The word incidentally comes from the Greek meaning put off till tomorrow. So let's get straight down to it instead of procrastinating. What do people procrastinate about? So I would say almost everything, but it's not quite the case. If you think about the things you procrastinate about, whether it's reports or starting exercise, doing your accounts, looking for a new job, or the household chores, they've got certain things about them that are very different from the things that we do instead of procrastinating. So whether it is playing silly computer games or those mindless tasks that seem to be much more important than writing a report. I must sharpen my pencils, or watching cat videos on YouTube, or looking up ridiculous facts about celebrities we've forgotten about, or the absolute classic surfing social media. All of these things, for some reason, are more important to us than the big things in life. What is it that is different between the two sets of things? And of course, now and then you find, I don't know, that you need to tidy your room, write a report, or something else, and tidying your room becomes more worse than the something else, but better than writing a report. So you end up doing things. It's almost like you have a ring. You walked into a corridor, and there's a series of doors. Searching for concert tickets, play solitaire, doing my tax returns, alphabetize the spice jars and ring your in-laws. And you look at them and you think, which is the absolute worst, or more to the point, which is the one that's going to be the easiest to do? And we seem to go to the easiest each time. Is that the case? So now Tim Urban did a really good TED talk, which I highly recommend. It's quite funny to watch, on procrastination. And the next few slides come straight from his work. And what he suggests is that in every normal person's brain, non-procrastinator, he says that there is a rational decision maker. And the rational decision maker thinks about the long term. They think about, this is what I should be doing, this is what is important to me, and all the rest of these things, and then steers the ship forwards. And he says that the procrastinator's brain is different. It has an instant gratification monkey inside your brain. Now, skip to the end of his talk, and he says that actually everyone has a instant gratification monkey, although it seems to be worse for some people. Now, the instant gratification monkey is the one that says, woohoo, Candy Crush Saga is much more fun than doing your tax returns. Therefore, I'm going to take over the brain. And of course, you end up doing that, or sleeping, or wanking, or whatever it is that you could be doing instead of doing the thing you really need to do. Now, he says that there is one thing that the instant gratification monkey is afraid of, and that is the panic monster. When does the panic monster arrive? It arrives when you have a deadline. So deadlines are absolutely terrifying for the instant gratification monkey, and it tends to chase the panic chases the monkey out of your brain, leaving the rational decision maker in place just at the last moment, which is why so many people will do a project and will start a little bit and then do nothing until the day before, and then they'll do all the work on the last day. Now, I love this idea, and it's a great way of thinking about things. However, I think he's missing something in this story. And that's that there are actually two reasons that we procrastinate. So there's the desire for excitement, and the instant gratification monkey really gets into that. There's that monkey that takes us over. But there's something else and a little bit deeper and harder to get your head around, and that's about emotional regulation. So I'm going to cover both of these. The first is the instant gratification monkey. Now, the instant gratification monkey actually has a chemical name. It's dopamine. So when you do something that you like or your brain likes, you get a little burst of dopamine. It's your brain's gratification hormone. Now, it's so important, and the idea behind it is so complex that I'm actually going to go in a few weeks' time and do a whole session on dopamine and what it does to us. However, for now, what you need to know is that when you do something that it gives you some sort of sense of satisfaction, you get a dopamine rush, and it's almost it is addictive. So if you finish level 1 on Candy Crush Saga, you get your dopamine rush. And that then feels good. So you will do the same thing again. When you line up all of your pencils in beautifully sharpened ways, dopamine rush feels good. I'll do that again. Watching videos, dopamine rush. Learning something new, dopamine rush. Getting a like on Instagram, dopamine rush. Dopamine rushes are addictive, and therefore you do those. Do you get dopamine rushes from writing a long report or filing your tax returns? You might at the end, but you don't all the way through. And this is the problem. So I sit there, I think, oh, I've got, a report to write and my taxes to do and my accountants to ring and everything else that I've got to do. No dopamine. So how do we trick the dopamine system? There's a very, very simple way. To-do lists. Now, to-do lists are clever because what you can do is you can take a big thing and turn it into many little things. And I'm talking really little. So imagine you have to apply for a job. So that feels really big. There's so much to do and you get no satisfaction from it until the moment you sent off that application form. Instead, if you list out all the things you need to do in really small detail, I will find a CV template. I will put my name on it. I will change the address. I will put in my qualifications and so on and so on and so on. Every time you do one little thing, that tick gives you a dopamine rush, and then you're more likely to do the rest. So if you're a chronic procrastinator, use tick lists because they make you feel good, and therefore they break a big project into lots of small projects, and you're getting these dopamine rushes along the way. The other side of it, of procrastination, is a bit more, is a bit deeper, and it's about emotional regulation. Now, what basically is going on in this form of procrastination is that you don't want to do something that you know has a potential to make you feel worse than you do now. So a good example of this would be if you were thinking, I'm not really happy about my job, but if I was to apply for a new job and I didn't get that, wasn't called for interview, I'd feel bad. So it's better not to apply for a new job because I don't want to feel bad. I don't want to start a new job because I might get it wrong. I'd feel bad. I don't want to be frustrated or bored, so I don't want to do my tax returns. I don't want to iron the shirts. I don't want to, if I think someone else would do a better job than me, that might make me feel bad. So I don't want to feel that I'm losing self-worth. And the absolute classic, I don't want to do something that other people will look down on me for, or I'd be hated for. So I won't dump my boyfriend. I won't fire that employee. I won't tell someone bad news because I don't want to feel bad. So the procrastination here is holding back the bad emotions that we know we might feel in the future. Now, bound in with this is the concept of our present self and our future self. So we sit there thinking, well, my present self is just not capable of doing this thing, but tomorrow I will be absolutely on form and able to do my tax returns. I've got news. You are the same person today as you will be tomorrow, with the one exception of if you, for something for some specific reason, you're feeling low. So, for example, if you didn't get a good night's sleep, or if you've had some bad news, then maybe procrastination is actually saving you from doing things in the wrong time. I've spoken to many people who are really tired and trying to work through something, and it just doesn't work. Go and have a sleep, feel better, move on after that. But you have to do that very intentionally. On the other hand, most of the time, the person tomorrow is no better set out to do the tax returns than the person today. So you cannot put things off to tomorrow, because all you're doing is putting it off for yourself in exactly the same form until you get a deadline and then the panic monster takes over. So we have to be kind to ourselves. We have to acknowledge our fears, and we have to say, this is what I'm feeling. This is why I think I'm putting this off. And this is what I'm going to do about it. Now and then we have to say, well, actually, I'm just not in the right place. I will do it tomorrow, but I'm going to set aside some time. Other times we have to say, actually, this is going to be really tough. I'm going to be bored when I'm doing this, but it's going to be necessary. And I'm giving myself a gift. So I always used to think on Sunday nights when I was ironing shirts, when I was working Monday to Friday in offices, I'd be like, on Sunday night, I'm giving a gift to Monday morning Matthew. And I'd love it, because Monday morning Matthew would actually, I'd literally say thank you to Sunday evening Matthew for doing the shirts and not making me do it first thing in the morning. Now, a way of organizing your time so you can make sure that you're doing the right things at the right time is something called the Eisenhower matrix. Now, this was apparently used by President Eisenhower back in the day to decide on the tasks that he should do at any one time. So it's urgent, not urgent, on the going up vertical, and important or not important on the horizontal. So something that is not urgent and low importance. So something like, I don't know, playing solitaire or watching cat videos. If you're doing that, you're probably procrastinating. Why are you doing it? Move on, do something else. Unless it's rest. If it's rest and it's mindful, intentional rest, or play for that matter, then that's fine. But make sure it's at the right time. If it's urgent and low importance, the idea is delegation. So, for example, if you have to iron the shirts, it'd be great if you had a maid, delegate it to the maid. If you have a low value customer that you have to reply to, if you can delegate, that's great. If you can't delegate, sometimes it's useful to just get those things out of the way quickly at the beginning of the day so you can then concentrate on other things. Not urgent, high importance things are the things that we really procrastinate about. So there's no deadline, there's no panic monster, but they're really important. They're the things that we need to schedule time for. When are you going to do your tax returns? When are you going to apply for a job? Right, I'm going to set aside next Tuesday and I'm going to do it then. I remember when I was in work once, I had a really messy office and my colleagues used to complain all the time. So I said, right, on Monday next week, I'm going to block off the day. I'm going to put a sign on my door and I'm going to sort my office out for once and for all. And I did it and I told everyone and it was brilliant and it felt really good. So I set aside the time I really needed to set aside for something I didn't want to do. Urgent, high important stuff, do it now. That's the stuff that in fact, hopefully, they only come up when you haven't managed your time right. Well, so if you manage your time right, you won't have those things, or they come up because they're new. So some emergency at work or whatever. Now, as always, I have a worksheet for you. It's on my website, englishleathermaster.com/mastering-life-shorts. And if you download that worksheet, it goes through the things you procrastinate about, and it tells you, it gets you to think about whether it's an emotional, I'm not getting enough dopamine, or sorry, an excitement, I'm not getting enough dopamine, or an emotional regulation, I'm trying to stop myself from feeling bad, and then comes up with some solutions for, some ways that you can do this. Now, most people can work through this on their own. Another thing that I do as a coach is it's really good to have accountability buddies. So when people say to me, I will do this, because they're saying it to a third party, they're much more likely to do it. So an accountability buddy is great. And the other thing that I do in my coaching is I work with someone and say, is that really urgent? Do you actually need to do that? Is there another way of doing that? So I can help people with their time management in that way. The password for this week is do it now, all one word with a capital D, I, and N. Now, next week, I'm away for a week. So the week after will be the next Mastering Life Shorts, and it's going to be a single word. No, a really important word that really helps us to manage our time, energy, and attention, but is really difficult to say. So we're going to be looking at that in a couple of weeks. So I look forward to being with you then. Thank you very much.